You can tell you how happy I am.
Of course, it's my best memory. Just nothing can compare.
Got it. Winning was magical for me.
Nicky Corrin has done it! 2 main event titles!
And that changed my world.
Welcome to the PokerStars Arena, hosting a special edition of the European Poker Tour. Yes, EPT Online is here, and we are bringing you 6 days of cards-up coverage from this series, starting with the final table of the 10K High Roller. Hello, everyone. I'm James Hartigan, alongside Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my EPT babies. James, I was very close to being late for this. I had to go all the way back to my bedroom to get my passport.
Joe, the idea of an online EPT festival has actually been on the table for a few years now. 2020 definitely feels like the right time to finally make it a reality. And I think it's worth pointing out from the start that this is an official EPT stop. The results count. Same events, same buy-ins, similar structures, trophies up for grabs. The series actually started on Sunday. We start streaming today, and here's what we're covering between now and next Wednesday, live at the same time every single day, which is 6:30 GMT. We've got the 10K High Roller today. Tomorrow, the final table of the huge 1K Arena Championship. Friday, the 25K Super High Roller final table. The main event starts on Sunday. We're going to be covering it from next Monday. We have our world famous bubble coverage on Monday. We watch the race to the final table on Tuesday, and we get to see every single hand from that final table on Wednesday, November 18th. So let's look at the field in tonight's event, the 10K High Roller. 9 players remain from a starting field of 109. Mattias Irbinger comes into this final table as the chip leader with a 134 big blind stack, ahead of Sevens guy Christian Votenlos Rudolph. Loads of high roller regs in the top 9. Mikici Bodzikowski, Giraffe Ganger, Mike Watson, Tim Adams, Connor Beresford. Let's have a look at what they're playing for. 13 made the money. Now we're down to 9. They're all guaranteed at least 33K. 6-figure scores for the top 4, with more than $250,000 up top for the champion. Well, we've got the usual commentary team working across this series. Joining us right now to call the action is Sam Grafton. Great to have you with us, Squid. Are you excited for this series?
Yeah, super excited, and particularly for tonight, starting things off with a bang with an amazing lineup for that final table.
I should have introduced you as EPT main event qualifier, Sam Grafton. I know you've won your ticket for Sunday's event, so maybe you'll be with us next week. Maybe you won't if you have a deep run. Should say, we are kicking things off with a star-studded lineup. It includes PCA 2016 main event champ Mike Sawat Watson. It also includes Timothy Adams, who is 8th on the EPT all-time money list, behind the likes of Mateos, Elke, Mike McDonald, Olashemian, and Steve O'Dwyer. Look at that, 14.6 million for O'Dwyer. As far as Tim Adams is concerned, he has made 22 high roller / super high roller final tables, winning 5 of them. The biggest being the 50K in Prague 3 years ago, where he beat Mikici Bodzikowski heads up, cashing for more than $650,000. And Sam, I talk about the history there between Tim Adams and Fish 2013, but the reality is all these guys at this final table have history against each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a stellar final table. Everyone will be primed and ready to go. And, you know, there's a lot of competitiveness between these guys who play so often against each other. And it's going to be exciting to see how things pan out, for sure.
And we should point out, Joe, that this could go the distance pretty deep right now. 30-minute blind levels, which is huge for an online event, and a 60 big blind average.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, 30 would be good for some of the smaller, look, my level live events. 30 minutes is amazing online.
So the final table starts with the blinds at 25,000, 50,000. Action on Bodzikowski, who folds.
So what's knocked me out of this tournament yesterday, actually? Put a bad beat on me. I can regale the fans with it if you want. So I'm all in.
Yes, please.
No, he made a standard call and he got there. But obviously, something of a veteran, so what's probably still a young man, but very been around forever and ever. Pretty impressive to still be competing at this level. And Irbinger with the decision.
Yeah. Mattias comes into this final table as chip leader and 3 bets from the small blind with ace jack. I mean, Mike Watson's had a phenomenal 2020. Great results during Scoop, great results during WCOOP, was a player of the series contender. And having flatted that 3-bet, flops top.
Just the way it's supposed to happen.
And tricky spot here for Irbinger.
Can we talk about the 3-bet against a fairly early open? Are all options available there? I guess folding's not really one, so it's just calling or 3-betting, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of an interesting decision point, and Irbinger's going to know this really well. And this is a very interesting turn because now Mattias doesn't really have, like, what are his misses here? Only ace-jack and ace-10. And as you say, it's not necessarily completely standard to 3-bet ace-jack in this situation. So you're going to have an ace-5 maybe, but this is going to make a nice bluffing candidate. And so Watts is hating that turn, right?
Yeah.
Really interesting hand to get things going here.
I'm glad you say that because when I hate this turn, I feel like, do good players hate this turn or only me, a terrible player?
Yeah, and look at this. So Watts in the hurt locker straight away. I mean, this is what Irbinger can do to you. I mean, he's got 90% equity and SBR won and Irbinger gets it done. I mean, you know, not false advertising from us guys, right? We're going to really see the top class poker on display today.
So action folded to Irbinger on the button. 7.3 million now.
Yeah, and actually I hadn't been quite aware. You know, he's put that chip lead to work straight away. And this is obviously it's a long clock. And as I said, anything can happen. But this is a big head start on the other top players in the hands of, really the biggest up-and-comer of the last few years. You talked about Tim winning in Prague, that 50K. That's a title also that Mattias has on the EPT. It's been a wrecking ball through high stakes over the last few years. And someone I think that, must have worked incredibly hard over the last few years, to position himself as one of the true elite.
So it's Hello Totti who's opening here to 104,000 with King 9. Pocket 10s for Mikiti Bodziakowski, who re-raises to 350K.
And we should say hello to Hello Totti, because I don't think we've covered Hello Totti before, and I think it's the only player at this table whose real name we don't know.
Wow.
Indeed.
The mystery man of the EPT. The masked assassin.
Woe man.
Yes, we do know that Hello Totti holds a Scoop title from 2019. We do know that Hello Totti has already cashed 2 EPT Online events so far this series and has online winnings in the $5 million region.
Yeah, I mean, if you play medium or high stakes over the last few years, there's no, you will have come across Hello Totti. I do believe that I can say pretty confidently it is a bloke because there's some like Russian friends or whatever who know him, or So I believe that I won't be misgendering him if I refer to him as a guy. So Connor coming in, good to see the UK repping with one Connor B1. He's always around, isn't he? He loves the final table, old Connor Beresford.
Half these players are going to move to the UK when they win $250,000 anyway, so they don't have to pay taxes.
And here we see, again, another unusual, VPIP, really. Hello Totti picking Jack 9 to put in a min 3-bet. Connor going to be opening a very tight range here. I mean, Hello Totti, I think he's putting the show on for the fans here. He knows we've all tuned in. He knows the viewers have come to see the EPT. He's not going to be outdone by Mattias Irbinger. He said, I can click buttons
Hello.
with the best of them. And Connor 2 overs and a flush draw, backdoor flush draw, in getting a great price. But what is Hello Totty saying he's got here, right? Hello Totty repping a very, very, very strong hand, attacking a very strong range. And again, another player winning a hand against a dominating holding by taking a really creative line.
Connor Beresford still the shortest stack at this table and down to just shy of 400K now.
Yeah, is the moral of the story, Sam, maybe don't open Jack 10 suited as the shortest stack?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's one way. That's one way of looking at it. I mean, we couldn't necessarily have expected that from Hello Totty. Obviously, if it comes Jack high, then the moral of the story is like, don't mess around with Jack 9 suited versus a really strong range, right? So you know, it can go both ways. Definitely, though, you know, we're seeing that this isn't an average final table. I think on, you know, even quite high stake final tables, you know, if someone opens off a short stack, a strong range, Smile the hero, putting everyone to the test.
Really,
and Tim
trying to be a hero here.
Yeah, well, I guess in a good position though, right? Because the 3 players behind you are the 3 shortest stacks, so you're only betting $1 million effective there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, leveraging the fact that Connor's so short and therefore Tim's got a call off really tight in that spot. I mean, we talk a lot about, you know, ICM having the bigger stack, what an advantage it is. We saw I Am Best leverage his big stack over Sir Watts. We saw Hello Totty leverage a big stack over Connor Beresford. They're Smile the hero, putting all the short stacks. You know, these are top players, and they're really going to show you what that means. I kind of pay some lip service to wielding the big stack or whatever. And here we're going to see the best players in the world show you how that's done, how you push a big stack advantage. Again, as I said, in ways like particularly with Hello Totty that, for instance, I wouldn't have thought of doing.
Yeah. As we watch this hand play out, I just want to quickly acknowledge some of the fallen. Let's have Fs in the chat, please, for the likes of David Peters, who bubbled in 14th place. The 4 players who made the money but did not advance to the final table were Sam Greenwood, who cashed out in 13th, David Lacker, Monkey Boss, who went out in 12th, Fedor Holtz, Crown Up Guy, finished 11th, and Ben CB, Ben Roller, bubbled the final table, finishing in 10th for 27K, leaving us with the 9 players we see now.
This is classic tournament poker players. You 3-bet the ace jack off. You 3-bet the jack 9 suited. You got queens. Let's just call. That's flat. Don't want to play a big pot. Obviously, this a different situation, right? Getting in a cooler situation against Hello Totty, a disaster when you're medium stack against medium stack. So taking the lower variance approach and flatting. You know, I think there are benefits to 3-betting here, but Smile the hero feeling like it's a call, keep in some dominated holdings. I think we will see Mattias flick in the 5-8 suited.
Ugh. Oh yeah, good note on D. Peters, by the way. In for 2 bullets and still bubbled. I know you love it when we do this, Sam, drawing attention to the re-entries.
That's why I didn't rebuy, James, because I didn't want to be on the list of shame. It actually cost the player pool 10K of my money because I didn't want to be named and shamed on worldwide EPT coverage.
Well, I'm going to name and shame Hello Totty, Fish 2013, and Tim O'Thee, who are all in for 20 rather than 10,000 US dollars. By the way,
they're
there
probably
were
really sweating it too.
73 unique players and 36 re-entries in this $10,000 buy-in event.
I got fish for one of them, a stacked fish. I made the top 2 pair against him, didn't I? And took his stack. That's the way you got to get him. So Smile the hero, you know, obviously with the straight draw, occasionally the best hand, good price. Actually raising here. I'm not sure that I like this. Maybe if he's going to follow through on the river, but does get it done. Nice play from Smile the hero. Guess he feels he has the 4 king queen suiteds there. And Hello Totty, you know, can't have king queen very easily when he has 2 queens. So
it's going to have some better aces too, right?
yes, it's absolutely possible that you can raise the set there on the turn as well.
Weird question alert, Sam. I mean, when you were playing in this, did it feel like you were just flicking in another 10K online? There have been a fair few in 2020. Or did this feel different? Did you feel, hold on a second, this is actually an EPT high roller, and this will count as an EPT high roller result should I win?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course I did. I mean, firstly, there's not so many $10,000 tournaments, and I don't play so many $10,000 tournaments
Sure.
that ever wears off. But of course, the EPT branding, you know, it makes every tournament special. That's an amazing history. I think, by the way, Timothy, for instance, I mean, this is a low buy-in for Tim Adams. You know, for him to get himself out of the sauna where he spends, you know, he's having a nice back rub, and there's EPT on. Okay. I'll play that. You know, of course, it absolutely. You know, and the deluxe format of this 10K, the amazing clock, the really nice structure with the final and the big money on day 2. Again, someone like Tim Adams, he's not going to play over 3 or 4 days, but 2 days he can. $250,000 on the line, he's there. You know, so yeah, absolutely, and particularly for myself, and I'm sure even, you know, let's talk about you know, Garif Ganga. You know, who's come up over the last few years, playing with legends like Sir Watts, playing with legends like Timothy. Smile the Hero, also someone, as far as I understand it, a bit on the come up. Hello Totty, very aware of how wide Irbinger going to be opening here. And 3 bets the pocket 9s. Hello Totty, traditionally seen, I think, as a little bit of a wild man in the streets. I don't know whether that's still true of his game. We will see today. The Jack-9 indicates that. He's going to be a little bit of a loose cannon. So Watts, Timothy, two of the best in the world, methodical, theory-based. Hello Totty's got a bit of the streets in him, and I think it's going to be exciting to see him play.
Just wanted to quickly handle a question from SuperTube, who asks about Smile the Hero, asking, is that Jeff Gross? It is an avatar of Jeff Gross, but of course the avatar doesn't always match the player, and Smile the Hero is actually Daniel Smilkovic. For example, I see that a certain Sam Squid has changed from Olashemian to Patrick Leonard.
Legend to legend, mate. Only repping the best. But yeah. Fake news. Is that what you're telling me? That's not Jeff Gross. I mean,
I'm sorry. Sorry to break it to you, but Jeff Gross is not at this 10K high roller final table.
I also don't want to destroy anyone's world here. Pocket Force coming up huge on the turn. So if this dude's name is this dude's name is Smilovich, why don't we call him Smilla the Hero?
Yes, we should.
Smilla, I guess it's Smilla the Hero, Smile the Hero, Smilkovic. You're right.
And just like that,
and
changes.
Botmalos gonna go for some value here. I mean, regular viewers of the show, if there is such a thing, will recognize Christopher Rudolph betting for value here. I mean, he's more of a regular than Griffin Bender on these broadcasts, right? He's probably had more hours than Maria Ho. Definitely more than Adam Levy, that is for sure. I mean,
you're not wrong.
Botmalos is just, he makes these deep runs. He makes it look easy. I'm telling people about variants. People are buying action cut, nothing I could do. And he's mugging us all off. He's like, yeah, I just turned up. What, you didn't make the final? How can that be? So, I mean, Christopher Rudolph really... Christian Rudolph.
Just call him Sevens Guy. By the way, it was a virtual all-in from Connor Beresford opening with the ace-jack. Calls it off when Sir Watts shoves on him. Queen high flop. Connor looking for an ace on the river, doesn't receive it. And we get our first bust out, our first KO from this 10K high roller. Connor Beresford out in 9th place for 33,000 as fireworks are fired at Sir Watts.
Yeah, and sad to see Connor go. Obviously a big swing there for both players. Sir Watts still the shortest stack, or second shortest stack, but back in the hunt, and we lose, you know, one of the UK's top players in Connor Beresford.
Well, talking of best, we have I Am Best 2. Mattias Irbinger, who is the chip leader with 8 players remaining. This is now an official EPT final table, 8-handed. Irbinger with 7.2 million. I mean, I have to say, okay, it's in the online space, it's inside the PokerStars arena, it's different to what we usually expect of the EPT, but to have the European Poker Tour back and be streaming high roller action and main events is so exciting, especially after we've just been reliving some of the EPTs of old with our retro streams, covering that first ever Champion of Champions event from Madrid in the last 24 hours.
This EPT Online is still going to count as more of an EPT, as an actual EPT, more than whatever it is we did in Panama, right? I mean, come on.
it's that's funny. The one I always say that doesn't count is Villamora. So, I mean, Toby Lewis, if there's no footage, right? If there's not one photo,
there's not even a photograph.
You know, it can't be real. Like I always say, that doesn't count. That it's not a real. I mean, Villamora, is that even a real place? I've never seen that on a map. I know Lisbon. Villamora, what's that, like a car park out the back of? Yeah, I doubt that can be real. So
we're getting calls for Villamora. Sam, you're going to need to. We're getting a lot of Portuguese letters right now.
Votnalos betting, somehow sensing that his hand is best. And look at Irbinger. And this is a new phenomena where people are playing very, very tough in these multi-way spots against small sizings. And checks down, hoping Votnalos there has like a king-queen kind of stab.
And we see the gap close now between Irbinger and Sevens Guy. 6.9 million for the chip leader, 6.4 million for Votnalos, second on the leaderboard still.
Yeah. Timothy with a nice shoving spot here with the ace-king. I was about to say, might decide to raise it and does so. Yeah, and not much fun for Votnalos to have Iron Best on his left. That is going to affect things. Having, being 2 big stacks. Irbinger, as we saw there with the pocket threes, very, very sticky. Same with the 8s on the ace-high board. Obviously an incredible player. Going to give Votnalos a little bit of a hard time there. Iron Best is definitely going to be able to open really, really wide. Votnalos is going to have Iron Best slowing him down just a little bit.
Sam, you mentioned Villamora there. The EPT that I'd completely forgotten about until it came up in conversation the other day was Loutraki. There was a Greek EPT one season. Zimnan Ziad, yes.
Of course. Another fallen hero of the great UK poker players, EPT champs, Rupert Elder, Zimmy, Liv. They were all like maybe the same year or around. There was one EPT season where you were just like, we're gonna have like 16 stops. We're gonna go to every country we can. That was really great times. Yeah, Zimmy put on a bit of a
season 8, I think it was. It was like 2011 to 2012 where there were like 15 or 16 stops, and I went to the vast majority of them. We went to Campione, which was like Italian territory inside Switzerland. Weird place, beautiful lake, very strange casino.
Yeah, Campione, Loutraki, like one-hit wonders of the EPT, basically. But yeah, it's Timothy with another premium. No one really with anything, it would seem. Hello Totti, as always, going to have a little think. Obviously, we talked about Timothy, even though he was a short stack, as sort of a headliner. Again, a bit like Makita, even within high stakes. I mean, I feel quite bad to almost pick anyone out on this final table. Look at this from Hello Totti.
There's your boy.
I told you, he's a wild man.
Hot Toddy.
This isn't going to work out well, I don't think. I mean, if Timothy knew he was approaching things like this, he would obviously just call the queens. It's going to be interesting how that strategy is going to work out against this top-class opposition. I think against weaker players, you can do that kind of stuff. Against Connor, Timothy, we'll see. Or we'll see if Hello Totti's building an image. Maybe he knows they're going to watch this. Yeah, go ahead, Joe. What were you going to say?
I just don't expect Timothy to be like opening and folding a whole lot of hands.
Yeah, obviously. And 5-3. I mean, even Joe, I know you don't believe in blockers, Joe, but you could see, for the newer viewers, when we refer to blockers, having a 5 and a 3, you're playing short deck now. You just removed a couple of really bad cards.
All your 5s and 3s are live, Sam. It's an even better reason to raise 5-3.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the concept of newer viewers, Sam, because obviously we'll have a lot of people watching EPT Online who were with us for WCOOP, who were with us for Stadium Series, and know how it all works. But let's help out some of those of you who maybe are tuning in for the first time to our online coverage. For example, Huang, who asked on YouTube, what's the buy-in? So much information on your screen, so let's try and break it down. Obviously, you can see the 9 players or 8 players remaining at the final table, their cards and their bets. You'll see in the center of the table, it says delay time 30 minutes. So we're showing the action on a 30-minute delay. So what you're seeing actually took place half an hour ago, but for game integrity reasons, we imposed that delay on the cards up action. You'll see in the top left-hand corner of your screen that there were 109 players who entered this event and 8 remain, and that will update with every elimination. And then just below the table, you'll see that this is the 10K high roller. That means it costs $10,000 to enter. We're at the final table. You can see the advertised payouts and see that Connor Beresford was the first player out today, cashing in 9th place. You'll see that there is more than $250,000 up top in this event. And I've already teased it once, and I'm going to keep teasing it throughout the day. The first prize in the Arena Championship, which we're streaming tomorrow, which is a $1,000 buy-in, is bigger than that. It's close to 400 grand. There were nearly 2,500 runners in the 1K in this series.
Yeah,
I love the fact that we're doing EPT Online, but we're still not paying out euros. I mean, come on. It's the one thing we could have done to make it more European. At least pay out euros.
I mean, absolutely, Joe. Just ask all PokerStars players how much they love doing currency exchanges in their Stars wallets. They absolutely love it.
I am best there with the ace-3 rejam, forcing the better hand to fold. To say, you're going to see Relentless from Mattias. Obviously, he's flashing the Poker Code brand, which is his training site, along with Fedor Holtz. Yeah, I really think of him as one of the hardest workers in the game, and was obviously bigging up Timothy, who, again, as I say, just has, along with Stephen Chidwick, one of the preeminent poker players of this particular moment, really a sort of end boss, even amongst amongst a group of really great players in the high roller scene. So yeah, it's really, really exciting. These guys that we're seeing on the final table, there's it would be lovely if there was some kind of chance to get amateur in the mix, but we'll have to make do with the world's best players.
We get the shove here from Bodziakowski. So it looks like it's Mike Watson, Sir Watts, who's now the shortest stack, the only player without a 7-figure stack. Irbinger opening here with 9-8 of hearts, 10-8 for Sir Watts.
This is going to be on the cusp, I think, for Mike Watson.
So, yeah, you just...
Joe's just like, wait for aces, wait for queens. So see,
no. This is not on the cusp for me at all. I'm definitely peeling here like 100% of the time, but I have no idea what to do if I don't flop a straight.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that it helps having a short stack. You can call actually a little bit wider as the shortest stack. You can play more hands because less consequences if you bust. Your stack is worth a bit less. It's harder to move up the pay ladder. And also, you can always realize that equity. Like, you're not going to get bluffed we saw him get bluffed before when he flopped up pair. But in general, if you hit a 10, if you flop a straight draw, you're just all in. Like, you flop, it comes 9-7, great, let's roll, If it comes 10 high, great. If you got me beat, you got me beat. So, and Smill, the hero, with another big jam, like this quite a lot with the suited king. Actually, Timothy can't call many, if any, kings there in the big blind.
Yeah, of course, ICM considerations. 8th place, 39,500. 7th place, 51,500.
Yeah. I mean, they are relatively small pay jumps, by the way, like just over a buy-in, 39 to 50. It's not going to... And Timothy here with ace-6 suited, and we can see Giraffe with the pocket jacks.
So Tim opening to 132K, and Bert Stevens, Giraffe Gang are all in for just over $1 million.
Yeah. And the good news is that Tim's decision is pretty easy at this point.
Yeah. Going to take his time and have a little think about it. See, obviously, the advantage of that more subtle. I think it's very tempting as these world-class players throw emojis at each other. Yeah.
It's a throwable war. This is not a $1 tournament, my babies. These guys have paid $10K and they're throwing poo at each other.
But what is poker if you can't have fun? Whether you're paying $1 to play or $10,000 to play, you still want to enjoy yourself.
I don't think that's true at all. But luckily, these guys are enjoying themselves.
Yeah. Just a game of cards, isn't it, really?
Exactly. Exactly. Joey Panzers hit the nail on the head. If you're on the final table, whenever you make a decision, just say ICM considerations and you sound smart. No matter what you do, if you say that, you sound smart.
Yes. Make a terrible ICM, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I would like, can I order a hot tea with lemon for ICM considerations? Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Ian C says, haven't seen you guys in weeks, which means Ian did not watch any of our EPT Retro streams. Write down Ian's name, promises not to hold a grudge much.
And Mattias, don't think going to fold. We might even see a limp re-race here. Having a little think, elects to just call. Hello, Toy. He's in there. 5-3, 8 deuce. He's making miracles happen out there.
James, we got to bring back the big board that shows all the hands people played from like EPT season 7.
A graphic that on the surface you think, wow, this is really going to add something meaningful to the coverage. And then you realize, nope, there is absolutely nothing of use that can be extracted from this data. And it is just really confusing both visually and orally for the audience.
So Totti's waited all the way to the river. And now...
You got to take the 8 high showdown value here, I think.
Yes. Put him on 7-5. And I think he's going to go for it now. And in any other final we've watched, this would just be a fold, like quite easily. And look at Mattias. He realizes there's a bunch of 5-3 off, 8 deuce off. Admittedly, there's going to be some 9 deuce and 9-3, and it's believable that Totti would play it. Look at this. Irbinger not releasing. There we go, Mattias. There we go.
Wow. Back up to nearly 8 million now.
Yeah. Mattias, it's how I say it, right?
Might be good.
I'm Mattias. I would say Mattias. And when you hear it, I think of Adrian Mateos, which is really confusing me.
Hello, Totti, again. Sizing there a little bit. You can't, this is what I'm saying about this kind of stakes tournament. If you're a little bit off, with the sizing, with that ace, smell the hero immediately attacking with the pocket queens, I think Mattias thought, there was something a little bit fishy about that line, that maybe Hello Totti is going to protect 9x on the turn and such like, or bet the flop. Sniffed it out. Really amazing, amazing play.
Sniff it.
Smell the hero, smell the glove.
What's wrong with being sexy? Nearly 85K on the river with what is actually the best hand.
Yeah, this is a value bet for sure. hoping Fish has got a deuce or three.
Really looking forward to when Hello Toddy has a monster, has a legitimate strong holding.
Ace-9 suited on the button. Raise and take it. So we're at the 30-60 blind level right now. 10 minutes, those blinds will go to 35,000, 70,000. You see, if you're going to copy the EPT, you go 30-60, 40-80. None of this online nonsense where you suddenly put in an extra
70.
blind level that makes zero difference whatsoever.
I don't know why they don't fully take advantage of the online sphere and just have it be like 38,500, 77,000.
Yeah, you can do.
You can do that
yeah.
online. I mean, even that's too round of a number. It could be like 33,341 is the small blind. Like that's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of intrepid thinking we're going to need if this company is going to take it to the next level.
That's the kind of, yeah, I mean, you should be in there. There should be like a room, you know, like how I imagine at the Google, where they've just got color crayons and Stapes is just coming up with stuff that should happen in the future. I'm pretty sure that's how they came up with throwables, you know?
Sam, there is one thing I think we can all agree on, and it's, you're absolutely right. Joe belongs in a room with crayons. That is 100%.
Do you remember that movie Project X where they take all the monkeys and they put them, you know, behind glass and then gas them and then watch what happens? That's what you should do with me. Just put me at a poker table with a bunch of chips, maybe a computer terminal, and then just, you know, fire radiation into the room and see what I come up with.
Okay.
Sam's not a huge fan. He's like, I don't.
Can we make that happen? Can we put Joe in a room and gas him? I'm told we can definitely make that happen.
This is a big turn here with Graf making essentially the nuts. I was a little surprised to see Sir Watts open a hand that definitely can shove. And Sir Watts obviously has checked back in order to be able to call this kind of turn bet with his flush draw. Definitely a board that I think Graf Gengar would have some bluffs on.
Wow.
Big whiff here for Sir Watts, poor guy.
Yeah, Giraffe Gang is straight still good, and Sir Watts has got just over pot behind. What's the play here, Sam? Check and let him bluff? He goes for it.
Yeah. I mean, Sir Watts is going to value bet the ace himself, but he'll also call off with the ace. So I think in the end, Graf felt like, right, I can have the bluff. I can have the 7-9. I can have the Jack-10 with, you know, missed diamonds or whatever sorry, not Jack-10, the 9-10 or whatever. And Sir Watts has got a bluff catch. And obviously Sir Watts having diamonds is not a good situation.
And with Sir Watts' actual holding, he may not have bluffed anyway, right?
Yes, definitely. King High shows down and again doesn't have the right properties for a bluff. Absolutely, Joe.
So our chip leader, Mattias Irbinger, opened here with King Jack. Mikici Bodziakowski with Pocket Jack still has the best hand post flop. Action has been checked to Bodziakowski.
Yeah, this is the overpair that you're going to want to protect. You're going to want to bet. And Mattias very aware that Fish's range is going to be strong in the spot, very pair heavy.
And it's very tempting to call 2 overs here, isn't it?
Yeah, you need to defend a lot of your range, but you're going to have a lot of backdoor flush draws, right? Any hand that can make a flush as well as having the overcards. King Jack, maybe even bottom of your opening range, so he does feel like he can let it go. And again, Mattias against Fish making the absolute right decision against the actual holding for what that's worth.
Blind v blind here. Sevens guy with King 6. Mattias Irbinger with the Snowmans.
Num.
Wins it. And now we see Smiller the hero with Pocket Rockets.
Wow. update from the airlines. Love that. Good work, graphic team. They've taken no time off. I've been doing nothing. I've been lounging around the house. The graphic team working into the small hours, and Votnolos choosing this moment to go on the offensive with the suited ace.
Smell the hero is about to make Votnolos smell the glove.
And obviously, if he could see Votnolos' hand, he would just call. But might feel like this is going to be strong quite often. And will 4-bet.
He raises to 900,000.
Almost a click back. Didn't get the action. I like this comment from Note Z Win, who says, aces can't fold here.
That is the kind of solid analysis that we need. In fact, I don't know why we have Grafton here. Can we just bin him off and bring this guy in?
Why are you trying to take my job, bro? What the hell?
Sam's like, oh man, I almost said aces could consider folding here.
I mean, it did look strong for Votnolos. Did look strong. I mean, Votnolos, you know what I'd be interested to know is if you searched him, I guarantee he's probably in the 5 rebuy as well. That's the other thing, amazing thing about Votnolos is when he plays. Like his schedule is, I remember we're at a party and we're talking about, this is what we do at poker player parties. We're talking, and Wushy was saying how he plays like 4 tables and he's super zen and he can tell what everyone's doing. And Votnolos was like, yeah, I play 15 tables. He's like, yeah, why I'm so good at poker. Why wouldn't I just win 15 tournaments rather than, I was like, wow, fair enough. I was like, you can't play that many. He was like, yeah. It's like, of course I can. I was like, fair enough. It's like just making me look like an absolute amateur.
It's one thing I regretted that by the time, we started doing lots and lots of coverage at EPTs, more than just final tables, more than just the main event or a super high roller. I wasn't able to go to these parties anymore. And man, do you really get some good background, some good color on the players that I kind of lost a step or two by the end because I was always going to bed when we were done.
Yeah. You're not the party animal you once were. Very, very sad to report.
Also, you miss out on the jugglers. They always have jugglers.
And 2 short stacks here, blind on blind with very similar holdings.
And
domination.
Mike Watson just has Tim Adams covered. Very close in terms of chips. And is this a call from Tim with Queen Jack blind v blind?
Well, we can see that one of the world's best thinks it's very close. We can see that Tim activating the time bank will call it off.
Oh, outflopped. Clubs. Oh, the jack on the river. That is the double up for Tim Adams. And Mike Watson's left with just 82K.
Yes. And this is, I mean, Tim Adams, king, queen suited, in a situation where the big stacks are incentivized to open very wide.
I mean, he's just doubled up and wow. Gets it in and is going to be flipping. And this is a potential ladder for Sir Watts with fewer than 3 bigs.
If he goes broke here, what a shame.
Well, it happens.
I'm not sure what Smilovic is thinking about here. Like you absolutely can't fold here. I don't think. Again, Smilovic seems to think it's close. Seems to think that Sir Watts' short stack is gonna. No, he does call.
Off to the races, and jacks are holding. Spades, no, brick on the river, and Tim Adams, having just received the double up, busts in 8th place, cashes for $39,500, and Mike Watson now guaranteed more than 51K.
You guys, I know the fireworks are fun, but I'm getting reports that some of these players are getting severely burned. So just calm down.
Tim Adams, little ungrateful for the double up there. he got a double up, and he couldn't just keep control of himself for one orbit. Let's a what's bust. I think we seeing the dark side there, really, of Tim Adams. Bit unprofessional on his part. If you get a double up, just chill out, isn't it, Stapleton? That's what you and me would do. Probably get up for an orbit, go speak to your friends on the rail, hop in the sauna for 20 minutes. I don't know what he's thinking.
Until Mike Watson doubles up again, yes.
Yeah. Blinding up to 35-70.
I told you it's too small a buy-in for Tim Adams. He's like, I'm not playing a short stack. I'm all in. Too rich. We need to up the buy-ins. Maybe the 25K. That's a key question. Will he take the 25K buy-in seriously, Tim Adams? Is it big enough?
We'll see if he makes the final table of the Super High Roller, which we're going to be streaming on Sunday, as we see Mike Watts all in with the Snowmen's.
He's on the tear up. So what's Mad Dog? They call him, don't they?
One over.
Jack 7 gets the double up.
I heard that Tim Adams just built a hole into the sauna so he can just reach out and play with one hand without actually having to dry off.
Maybe it was a misclick. He just was like, I'll press one of the buttons. It's like fold or whatever.
Just hits
Domination Nation here. Is always coming 7 for 7 Sky. King Queen still ahead.
Yeah, and Wanderlust obviously worried that, so what's going to, obviously in the last example, he had 8-10, that he's going to connect with this board. Obviously, he can just check raise all in with any flush draw. So checks back to King Queen, and then, I guess, sort of protects his hand on the turn.
Quick question here from Cameron on YouTube asking, is there any stream tomorrow? This is day 1 of 6 for us, Cameron. So we're streaming Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, as we get another all-in and a set of queens for Mike Watson, and he doubles up through Giraffe Ganger. So Watts now playing more than 750K.
Almost back where he started, had 850, I think, before that all-in.
You guys are ruining the prestige of this event. This is a 10K. It's an official EPT. What do you think this is? A play money home game?
Yeah.
You know it's bad if I'm telling you to take it seriously. I guess it's the higher the buy-in, the less cooldown time on the throwables, huh?
Yeah,
so Domination Nation.
Yeah, and Votnalos connecting well with this board. And,
of course it is, because for 7 Sky, it's always coming 7.
Good use of the 7s there. That's approved even by me. I like the use of the 7s there.
Okay, you'll take that one. However, ace on the turn, and now Smilla the Hero has got kicker problems.
Yeah, sick outdraw. And a flush draw out there and some straightening properties. I think we could see Irbinger bet. And obviously Smile the Hero just sort of stuck here. I mean, it's not a bad spot. Of course, he can be ahead of some of Iron Best's value bets at this point. It's really if a big river bet comes in. And that will chill things a little bit. The King of Spades, there's not so many flushes. There's Queen Jack of Spades, Jack 10 of Spades. There's a few, but Irbinger may feel like he can still value bet the river. Does
613,754 chips.
Yeah. And this is the quality of Irbinger not being slowed down by that apparent scare card. Ranging Smil the Hero correctly. Identifying that he can have hands like this, and Smil the Hero in a tough spot.
Folds as we see Mattias Irbinger now extend his chip lead. 8.1 million on the very next hand is dealt Pocket Rockets.
And Garif.
Yeah, I've just seen all in with kings.
Well, and the good news is all the aces are out. The bad news for Garif is one of the kings is out. And I'm doing a little bit of acting here. This is a little bit of Hollywood for us. There he goes.
Don't want to lose Hello Totty, but you will. And not looking good for Bert Stevens. King required on the river. Nope. Aces hold. And Giraffe Ganger is KO'd in 7th place. Bert cashing for $51,444 and 94 cents. Taking us down to the final 6 players in this 10K high roller.
That's tough news for Giraffe Ganger, but at least he stuck his neck out there.
Wow. Thank you.
All right, I'm out. Cut me.
Mic drop. Exit. Oh, dear. Did one of the producers give that to you in the show notes? Was that like?
No, that was rare. That was a rare thing that my team of writers didn't come up with.
So I am best with pocket nines. Think you can go both ways here. Does electrical? It's kind of nice if you can get shoved on by smaller pairs behind, sort of like a trap. Keep the variance low against Votnalos and allow Fish to attack. You know, Fish would be sending it all in here with pocket fours and such like. And tight fold actually from Fish.
Well, Sevens guys going to be loving the fact that there are 2 strawberries on this flop.
And
that juicy,
obviously,
delicious ass of strawberries.
Yeah, quite nice to try and protect this hand. You're going to have 2s and 5s. Doesn't want to. Obviously, going to strengthen your opponent's range. And Votnalos with the slow play. A little surprised at this. There's quite a lot of offsuit Broadway and Iron Best range, or at least some know about this. But Irbinger may feel like he has the best hand now. Who's going to feel like he has the best hand? Checks again.
$437K in the middle, and Votnalos goes big. Overbet.
So Irbinger does have a heart in his hand, but obviously losing to, there's some full houses there in Votnalos's range, all the Broadway flushes and 10-8 suited, so lets it go. And, I think we can just see the class again of Irbinger. Obviously it's a little bit the way the cards interact amongst these top players, but seems to have done everything right thus far on the final table. And this is a humongous chip lead. Smell the Hero also, of course, with 80-odd big blinds. And
meanwhile, we've got 2 players with Ace-King here. Ace-King of clubs for Hello Totty. Ace-King of hearts for Fish 2013, Mikita Bodzikowski. And Irbinger, with 9.5 million chips at the start of this hand, is open to 140,000. The 3-bet from Hello Totty, the virtual all-in from Bodzikowski. And here we go. And this is going to be a chop pot. And you know what they say? Everyone loves a chop pot. Yeah, pretty sure that was terrible.
Sam, you were a little off.
This is what the fans tune in for. They want to see it. That's what they tune in for. And Hello Totty with 10s and Votnalos Ace-King. Starting with just over 30 big blinds. Hello Totty will
I'm trying to get faster with my flip analogies. So instead of doing the whole line, I'm just going to go like dogs versus cats.
Is this going to be yet another ridiculous ladder for Mike Watson, who sat there with less than 600K and just watching everyone else go at it, thinking, Right, well, so far I've managed to ladder up to 67K. I'll take an additional 20,000. Thank you very much. Good night.
I mean, Totti may flat here. I think he decides to jam, and Votnalos will call it off.
Let's flip the coin. 10's holding. And 10's hold. That is going to be a double up for Hello Totti as the players go on break. 6 remain in the 10K high roller. I am best 2. Mattias Irbinger still with the chip lead. So this is the 6th EPT Online event. We have had 5 played down to a winner so far. 5 EPT Online winners. And let's talk about who else has won trophies this series. Starting with the winner of the 10K PLO high roller. That player, Ka Kwon Lau, who already won a 10K PLO at EPT Malta back in 2016. 188K for this year's result. Biggest score came with a 4th place finish in Prague in 2013. And the other winners so far? Let's take a look at our new EPT champions. David Lucker took down the 5K high roller for 143K. Tatiana Barusova won the 530 No Limit Hold'em event. The 1K Win the Button was taken down by Klaas Segerbrecht, sick one. And a player we've been talking about a lot this evening, Daniel Smilkovic, Smilla the Hero, won the 2K Progressive Knockout event last night for $113,500. And now, tonight, could win his 2nd trophy of the series, a contender in the 10K high roller, with 6 players remaining in that event. Smilkovic's other results include a 3rd place finish in a Sunday Million, and a couple of WCOOP and Scoop results as well. Sam, what do you know about Smilla the Hero? Did you say this is a player who's kind of up and coming?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of my sense of him, but I could be way off there. I don't want to disrespect him if he has been around longer. I just haven't crossed paths with him, but I certainly see him across the sites in the big tournaments. And you know, I hadn't seen as much of him over the last couple of years. And we can see with that PKO result, he seems to be putting up results consistently now, taking a big shot in a 10K, and you know, seeming to do absolutely brilliant against this very, very stiff competition.
And certainly, Joe, I find that having done those Scoop final table replays, having covered Stadium Series during the summer months and WCOOP in the autumn, I'm now coming to recognize a lot more of these screen names and these avatars than I would have done previously. And Smilla the Hero is one of them. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely one of them. I think what's interesting is that there are folks that we would be not at all surprised to be making a 10K live final table. And now there's a group of folks that we're not at all surprised to see make a 10K online final table. And there's a cool little overlap between those two, but there's also some very distinct categories. And I think if folks like Smill the Hero end up winning events late one night and then another one the next day, we may never go back to having a live EPT ever again, because they can do something in this that they can't do in those live events, which is play 2 events at the same time.
That is very true. That is very true. A reminder that tomorrow we've got the 1K Arena Championship final table. Friday, we will be focusing on the 25K Super High Roller. Are you playing that one, Sam?
We shall see. We shall see. I mean, the accounts are looking a little bit empty.
Get your cup out, Sam.
Exactly.
Put your coins in Sam's cup so he can raise the money for the 25K. Let's go.
Meanwhile, we continue to follow the players in the 10K high roller. Our first stream of the series, down to 6 players. Mattias Irbinger with a huge chip lead, 132 big blinds. Meanwhile, Mike Watson in the danger zone.
Danger zone!
With just 8 big blinds. And we're going to let Joe Stapleton take a break from the booth. I'm going to stick around with Sam Grafton. You enjoy your hot dog, Joe, as we continue to follow the action in this event and play down to a winner who's going to receive the High Roller Trophy and the first prize of more than $250,000. And we saw from the chip counts there, Sam, advantage with Irbinger right now, but talented players that he's up against here, including Sevens Guy, including Bodjakovsky, Hello Totti, and even Sawatz, even with 8 bigs, he could easily spin that up, right?
Yeah, absolutely, because these guys are so good even with the short stacks, right? The one thing that's really evolved over the last few years is the play with short stack. We used to think, right, 7 big blinds, you're basically out, like, just shove it in, hope to get lucky or whatever, spin up. Now these guys developing limping strategies off 10 big blinds, 15 big blinds that you won't see as much as on finals, but someone like Fish 2013 might implement. You know, you saw So What's taking flops off 8 big blinds, 7 big blinds, 9 big blinds, trying to catch a little piece, even sometimes running bluffs off those very, very short stacks. So it means that these guys will fight down right to the nub of their stack. And as you say, So What's, I mean, going to be interested to see what he decides to do with King 10 suited here. Definitely could consider getting involved, depending on how wide he thinks Smell the Hero is opening.
So we get the all-in from Mike Watson here. King 10 called by Ace-Jack, and Ace-High still good. Diamonds, and a king on the river. So what survives again, doubling up to 1.3 million.
Yeah, nice for So What's. I thought we had the commentator's curse their way. We were like, oh, So What's, he can still spin up. Immediate elimination. But not to be. And nice to see So What's hanging around.
Yes, and blinds still 35-70, going up in 20 minutes' time. As we see Sevens Guy and Mikita Bodyakovsky go to the flop.
Yeah, Mikita, another very intimidating figure in the worlds of high stakes, turning the best hand here. So deliberate with every decision point in a hand. Obviously was a high stakes cash game end boss for a long time, switched to tournaments and has had amazing success over the last few years. What a loss will fold the King Jack.
And
action
with Ace-8 opens.
Yeah, we'll
just realised
a little bit. Yeah, go ahead, James.
Just very rude of me. Normally before these events, certainly before Stadium Series and before WCOOP, we've had the chance to catch up. Didn't get the opportunity to talk to you properly before EPT Online. So I'll ask now, are you keeping well? How are things with you?
Yeah, absolutely great. You know, played poker last night. Played the 1K on Sunday. Otherwise, really good. Had a nice little holiday before lockdown. And yeah, just going to be focused on grinding. Now, in the UK, we're obviously back in lockdown mode. Always good, James. Always good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously EPT Online had been planned for some time. It's just, I wouldn't say happy coincidence, but I guess it's at least there's this to occupy the minds and time of so many people during the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And Irbinger probably going to defend the A6 off. Again, I don't want to preempt any decisions. I mean, so much more less intimidating even for me to commentate. I don't know how you find it, James. I mean, I guess you're not a poker player, so there's a bit less pressure. But these guys, you know, sometimes it's quite easy for me to predict what's going to happen and how people are going to approach things. But as I say, with this grouping of 6 players, we're really talking about some of the very, very best. And they're hard at work all the time, refining and developing their final table strategies. You know, this is where all the money is made, of course, at the final table, and knowing exactly what to defend, what are the good 3-bet bluffs, what sort of hands you can get in and such like is very, very important to being a successful poker player. This checks all the way to the river, and Irbinger may feel that with that he can value bet. Smile the Hero going to have ace or king high very, very often in this line.
This is a case of domination rotation when the 6 hit the flop. And a bet of nearly 125,000. Are we going to get the ace high hero call?
Yeah, and you see that for someone like Smell the Hero, he's very aware that his hand looks exactly like ace or king high. And he has to select some of those ace or king highs to bluff catch getting this price, right? Which ones does he want to use? What properties does he want to have? And does make the call. You know, think to some newer viewers to poker, that's going to seem really odd, but you know, you have to protect your range. Otherwise, someone like Irbinger is going to, you know, run all over you and take every pot where neither of you hit.
Well, the praise for my friend and co-commentator Sam Grafton coming in thick and fast. Raceland says, glad you guys are back. I grew to be a huge Sam Grafton fanboy during the previous series. Love to listen to the geezer, as he himself might say.
Yeah, that's very kind. Very, very generous. Any appreciative comments are more than welcome. Vonnelos folding the ace-10 there, by the way, with Hello Totty again getting super out of line with the 5-6 off. It's very exciting to see, actually, someone stepping a bit out of GTO land. And as I said, a wild man, Hello Totty, and he's thinking about it again here with ace-9. Elects to fold and fish with a very inviting looking holding in the big blind in King Jack suited.
Well, this is King Jack versus King Queen, and the advantage very much with Mike Watson with the better kicker and the flush draw.
Yeah, and fish 2 overs to a hand like pocket nines. And also some straightening possibilities. Don't think we're going to see him fold here. It's check raise or check call here. And does check raise. Because you get to fold so often on this board, you can continue by raising all of your, or most of your continuing range. Not that surprising to see a check raise there. Obviously, it would be great to fold out a hand like ace-jack without a club or diamond.
Yeah,
without a club.
But you're not going to fold out King Queen of clubs. And Watson now near enough a 9-1 favourite.
And
we saw
fish,
Wojciechowski, follows it up with a bet on the turn, Sam.
Yeah, and a 10 is just absolutely the nuts. And at the stack depth, can't basically be outdrawn. You're not really worried about a flush when you have a 10. So, you know, this would get a fold from some of Sir Watt's range. But will he follow through on the river? The 5 might tempt him. I think if he had lower cards, I don't know, actually. I don't know what exact combo you want here. Let's just see how Fish 2013 approaches this spot. Obviously, he's chopping now with Sir Watts, and that's one reason you might not want to bluff. Right? You might want a worse hand. Does check it over to Sir Watts.
And if Sir Watts checks behind, this is going to be a chop pot. And I know that Sam isn't going to join in, so I'll just go solo. Everyone loves a chop pot.
Everyone loves it.
Okay, we got spoken word version of it there, kind of like beat poetry. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, that's a generous assessment. I don't know whether you've ever been to beat poetry. I mean, I know some beat poetry might not be very good, but it's better than that. And Fish, again, with a decision. King, Queen suited. We obviously saw Tim Adams go broke with this exact holding and does rip it in there, forcing the fold from the pocket pair. Again, you'll see that the game's developed past the position where we just call off every pocket pair, hoping to be flipping. And so Watts could consider rejamming here. Yes, he does.
Is this going to be his undoing?
And you see the benefit of jamming. Hello Totty tanking with ace-10. I would be very surprised to see him fold here, but Hello Totty seems to think this is close. Certainly, ace-3 here would force folds from some worse, some better offsuit aces. I'd be very surprised to see ace-10 fold here, though. Crucial moment for Sir Watts. Will be all in and crushed if Hello Totty makes this call. Otherwise, a very nice pickup for Sir Watts. Does get it done. Yeah, so Watts traditionally with a reputation as a player on the tighter side. I think that's a little outdated now, but maybe that fed into Hello Totty's thinking. Really, really interesting.
And we have a Jack 6-5 flop. Sixes for both players. The king kicker in Sir Watts' favour. Plus, of course, running diamonds would work beautifully for him. 3 of hearts on the turn, though.
Yeah, and that's a bad card for Votnalos, because that 6, after checking back, looks very secure. Lot of draws, 4x, 7x, diamonds, whole host of places Sir Watts can pull bluffs from. And that might chill things out. Will Sir Watts go for some thin value here on the river? No.
I'm just interested to see, assuming this gets checked back, so Watts wins another pot, up to 1.66 million, and now finds himself with the pocket rockets.
Yeah. And he's going to get at least some action. In general, I think King, Queen, a hand Irbinger will call. Definitely can consider re-jamming. Nice to keep. He does jam.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Watson at risk, but way ahead. Oh, straight draw alert. But aces hold, and Mike Watson's now playing 3.4 million. And Sam, here is a hashtag fun fact. 25 minutes ago, Mike Watson had 82K. He had fewer than 3 big blinds. And now he is legitimately a contender. That's why we said when we came back from break, don't discount him.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the top players in the world. Certainly, I mean, if we just were to talk about experience, so what's a full decade of playing the highest stakes in the world, you know, was playing when online 10Ks didn't really exist, you know, and never going to be rattled at any stack depth, never going to be rattled by the occasion. And, you know, a lesson for any sort of aspiring poker player, you keep battling to the end. You know, you continue to play your 2 big blinds, 3 big blinds to the best of your ability. Totti going for a bluff on the turn. Don't think this is as bad as it looks. I think firing some sort of no equity hands is quite good, and you can bluff a 7, a diamond on the river. That 9, quite a good card, I think, for Irbinger. None of the draws complete. 2 king kicker, a lot more secure. Will Totti try and bluff him again? We saw I Am Best make an amazing ace high call earlier in the final. And hello, Totti, giving it some thought. Might consider, well, I don't know. I mean, this sizing, wouldn't you go bigger than this with a 9? I think, again, Irbinger, really interesting. Doesn't block 10-8, 10-7, 7-5. I would love to see Mattias make another great call here. I mean,
just a pair of deuces, though, Sam.
It's tough. It is really, really tough. Does make the call. There
Hero call.
He's got the poker code. What can you say?
8.4 million now.
Yeah, and I don't want to be too harsh about Hello Totti, who, as we said, $5.8 million in winnings. But you are dealing with a top class player here. You know, that will get through against, you know, a whole host of professionals on final tables, 1K finals, $500 finals. You know, but Mattias Irbinger is dialed in. If you get your sizings wrong, if your bluff frequency is off, like just imagine if you're taking 8-3 off, what are you doing with 7-5, 7-4, 8? You know, you can have so many bluffs. So it seems like a tough call, but if Totti is employing that strategy, if he isn't randomizing, if he isn't controlling his frequency using particular blockers, particular suits, then Irbinger can pick him off in just that manner.
Worth reminding everyone, Sam, that this event is playing right now. This final table is being played tonight, and we are watching the action on a 30-minute delay. As we see, I Am Best 2, Mattias Irbinger win another pot, almost approaching 9 million chips again.
Yeah, and He's having a great time of it at the moment. I think one thing that will affect the course of this, the outcome of this tournament is whether Fish 2013, whether his stat goes up or diminishes. Let me tell you, if Fish begins to get around the 3, 4, 5 million mark, he will slow Irbinger down a great deal in exactly this sort of position, hijack against Fish's button. But with the short stack, Fish 2013 very constrained in how much he can flat, how much he can 3-bet, and such like, having to play pretty honest. Definitely been at the wrong end of the distribution thus far in terms of picking up premiums, picking up strong holdings.
I heard a message from Dory reminding me to stay hydrated. Excuse me 1 second.
Cheers. So I am best with a decision. This 9, pretty good for Smell the Hero's range. Queen 10, King Queens, and the like, pick up that straight draw interactivity. I think, yeah, and I am best. This board really, really good for Smile the Hero. Doesn't bluff the turn. This river now. I mean, Smile the Hero checks. Obviously hoping to show down against Ace King, Ace Queen, hands that I am best would just check down. King 4, very, very low in I am best 2's range. Can't win at showdown. And will fire a very subtle sizing and gets it done, delaying all the way to the river.
Over 9 million now, and it's aces again for Mike Watson, again with the Rockets.
The astronaut, so what's with the Rockets yet again? And comes in for a raise. I mean, Botnalos, very, Botnalos makes a lot of money in this game, and I think he's very attuned to other players' approach. Snap releasing the 9-8 there, which I think most people would have at least considered calling. He feels that so what's a little unbalanced there. I don't know.
Slippery Oboe, I will come to your question in a moment. It's a fair question. It's a legitimate question. I will respond, but I think we're going to have a hand kickoff here because Smell of the Heroes opened with King, Queen of Diamonds. I am best 2 with Ace King, who's 3-bet.
Yeah, and, this is not an exciting spot with King, Queen suited against a big covering stack. But I think a defend is mandatory. Going to be really interesting to see Irbinger's sizing here. Goes for 3rd pot. The benefit of this with Ace King is you actually don't mind if Ace Queen sticks around. Don't mind as much if King Queen sticks around. I think the 10 interaction and the backdoor flush draw will keep Smell the Hero in this pot. Has plenty of equity against Ace 5, Ace Deuce, and that's a good card for Smill.
Strong equity now with the flush draw. Ace King still the best hand and near enough a 3-1 favorite.
Yeah, and 2.6 million in the pot. This is a big old pot, and either Smell the Hero gonna pull much closer to Irbinger, or Irbinger's chip lead gonna increase depending where it goes. And Smell the Hero might go on the attack, trying to follow out exactly a hand like Ace King. One problem is you really don't want to get check raised off this hand. So checks back.
So Ace High is the best hand. And
yeah, I don't
if
think we'll see
checks here,
Irbinger.
here's the question, Sam. If Irbinger checks here, Is this a check back with king high, or do you have to bluff this?
I feel like Smell the Hero is going to bluff. There's a lot of ace king. There's a lot of ace queen. There's even sort of ace 5 and ace 3. And you're going to rep 8s. You're going to rep 9s. You're going to rep queen 10 of diamonds and bets half pot.
So next question, are we going to get another hero call from Irbinger, this time with ace high?
I would be super impressed if Irbinger could call. Now this sizing, unlikely to be 8s, right? 6s likely to bet the turn. Where is Smell the Hero pulling their value from? Can you value bet 7s? I don't think that you can. You're just going to take the pot down. And Irbinger, very, very attuned to people's sizings. What are Smell the Hero's thin value bets here? Is Daniel going to be confident enough to value bet a hand like ace 8 here? You know, ace 8 of diamonds. I mean, let's suppose he got it with such a holding. Unlikely, I think. And you can see Irbinger is tanking on a big call here. And this would be amazing. He's got 2 right. And, you know, we're seeing the level that I mean, I find it a little bit intimidating, the level Iron Best 2 is on here. Can he make this call, Hartigan?
Well, he's got 60 seconds of thinking time left.
I mean, Smell the Hero, his hands are sweaty right now. You are not loving it.
No.
No diamond in his hand. I think, you know, Irbinger's even tuned into the fact that, you know, it's the Queen Jack suited, the King Jack of diamonds, the King Queen of diamonds that are going to be the ones that check back. Is there enough of them, though? Ace Jack, I don't think, is going to bluff. Smell the Hero is going to realize he can't bluff the ace highs. He does make a call.
Another hero call. And Mattias Irbinger now has 11.6 million. Huge chip advantage at this 6-handed final table.
I mean, he's slapping these guys around. He is absolutely slapping them around. He's honestly, he's taking, issuing speeding tickets all over the place. I mean, unbelievable from IMS 2. Great, great, great call. You have to be so on point with your sizings, with your frequencies against these guys. Otherwise, they will pull your pants down, just like IMS 2 has done there. Unbelievable.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal poker. I did say I would quickly answer a question from Slippery Oboe. What happened to American Airlines? So Slippery Oboe, on a recent episode of the Poker in the Ears podcast, Joe and I reviewed a poker movie from 2003 called Shade. And we discovered that in that movie...
I'm sorry to cut you off, because we could have a shove here from Fish 2013.
You're right.
Cool. Just this could be a big moment. I do want to hear that. Will he go for the 3-bet, or will he just jam? He does just jam.
Coin flip, and Makita Bodziakowski at risk, but flops a queen. 2-pair now, no 9 on the river. That's a double up for Fish 2013.
Yeah, and actually Smell the Hero would have flopped a set there. Very unfortunate. And we will analyze that hand in a moment, but I am best with 2 aces now.
This is the perfect segue, right? So no longer is it American Airlines, it's now Pocket Rockets. Because we discovered that in this movie, in 2003, the actor Stuart Townsend, playing a character called Vernon, refers to aces as American Airlines. And we suddenly realized that even though I thought I invented that nickname in December of 2019 at EPT Prague, turns out it was used in a bad poker movie in 2003. So it's not ours to use anymore. So we've gone back to the more traditional nickname for aces, Pocket Rockets.
I thought you said, I'm disappointed there. I thought you and Stapleton had gone back to the drawing board. You got out like a napkin. You guys had spitballed and you'd invented Pocket Rockets. So I'm sad to hear.
Yeah. There's only so much, you know, we are creative people, Sam, but there's only so much we can gift to the poker world. And I feel that in between the chop pot jingle and Joe's genius expression, all it takes is a chip and a chair, I kind of feel we've hit the ceiling.
You've got enough to be entered into the Poker Hall of Fame once you eventually hit 40, James, or 50
exactly.
or whatever the thing is.
I mean, I think it is 40, and Joe is 48 now. So realistically, he should have been inducted a long time ago.
So I just want to using a segue myself, this is what I talked about. Fish now flatting the ace-10 suited, and that's probably a hand he would have V-pipped anyway, in position. And that was a big, big double because, you know, it's put Fish 2013, who's been pretty quiet at this final table, just sort of nicking the odd pot hit and staying afloat, into a position where he can play pots with Irbinger 50 big blinds deep. And, you know, that's a big, big development on this final table. Fish 2013, of course, one of the sort of great players of the current moment. And big flop here, Smelt the hero.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not
so
sure.
Top two against bottom pair and a straight draw.
Yeah, a little bit funny sizing here, I think, with the top two. So dynamic, this board. And that's a great card for Smelt, the hero, making the boat and negating any worry of flush or straights coming in. And Irbinger himself making a full house on the river. The lower full house. This is somewhat deceptive because not many jacks want to check back the turn. It's only jacks that make a full house that can check back. And certainly many of those bet bigger on the flop. You know, pocket kings, king jack. I'm a little surprised at the sizing. Smell the hero picked. And now, when Smell the hero goes all in, Irbinger again going to be faced with a tough decision, with a very strong holding in ultimate, in sort of hand strength terms. And Smell the hero with the fake tank, the Hollywood tank. He is going all in, make no mistake about it. And this is going to come as quite a shock to IMS 2. I don't think that Irbinger was expecting this outcome. So what does Irbinger's range look like here? Does he bet this sizing with jacks and tens? Right? And if he does, he calls off the jacks.
I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm just going to throw it out there from what we've seen so far with some amazing hero calls. I was going to call it. I guarantee he gets away from this. And sure enough, he does. Folds the full house to a better full house. What a player. I mean, when you're watching someone this good, just playing this perfectly, with that chip stack, how on earth can he lose this thing?
I'll tell you what, I'm probably not going to play 25K now. He's put me off. He's put me off. I don't want to deal with this. Yeah, really, really, really great play again from IMS2. And very unfortunate for Smell the Hero. Got exactly the run out he was looking for. And yeah, really, really nice to see this kind of top class. To me, it's quite inspiring to see someone play the game this well, to show that even amongst this elite grouping, you know, and of course, you know, certain hands have gone his way or the combos he's had. I'm not saying there's not some luck involved, but even in this elite grouping, Irbinger separating himself a little bit from the others and now going on the attack. Jack 8 suited. And so what's with a decision will call and play out of position, feeling makes it into a defending range. It's obviously one of the downsides to playing with pocket fives. Very difficult to navigate if you don't flop a 5. And obviously you release a lot of equity. Irbinger flopping strongest with the jack and will use his range advantage to protect that holding.
Sorry, Sam, we've got someone here called Johnny Unlucky who is continuing to perpetuate these false rumors that all it takes in a chip and a chair was invented before 2015. So I'm afraid you're banned.
Zero tolerance here at the EPT. No fake news allowed in the chat. And so Fish now, again, now he's the covering stack. Electing to come in for a raise with the 9-5 suited. Sort of switching gears and putting pressure on Smil the Hero. And small bet on this very, very static board. And gets the fold. Little little surprised by that.
Well, it's Bodziakowski's turn to get dealt the pocket rockets.
And there's some options here for pocket twos. Smil, the hero, not run great in this last half an hour. And nice fold. We'll just fold the blockers, the unblockers rather. And, you know, I maybe, wow, I don't know what I would have done there. Maybe I would have even called, but really dodges a bullet there from Smil, the hero. Very, very nice to see. And you can see why they made it so far in this tournament. And so what's defending the ace-10.
Calls one straight. Checks as the board pairs on the turn.
Yeah, and Fish with a couple of options. Could check back, might bet again. You want to kind of play for stacks here very often, and hard to build the pot unless you bet the turn. I mean, it's your hand very stable on that 5 turn. Will bet again. And so what's with a nice swift fold there? I thought he might have been tempted to stick around another street, but gets away from his hand. So great play there from the blinds. Both, you know, losing probably both of them losing the minimum that they could to the aces there with 2 very, very strong holdings.
Okay, we got Sawat's now with kings opening on the button, and Irbinger with queen 8 in the big blind. Defends and flops trip queens. Oh, wow. I mean, we've talked about how well Irbinger is playing, Sam. Combine that with just bouncing cards off the wall in spots like this when someone's been dealt kings, and he really will be unstoppable.
And you see a lot of check raising on these paired boards, the same as Fish did on the 10-10 X board. You can make small check raise with a lot of your continuing range, and that's exactly what Irbinger does. And I tell you what, when you're in this position with kings and you get check raised, it's not an exciting situation all of a sudden.
Well, Watson calls. We go to the turn. 1.2 million in the middle, and Irbinger near enough a 96% favorite to win this pot. The question really is, how much is Sawat's going to lose here?
Yeah, so Irbinger probably going to down bet here on the turn. You know, allowing some flexibility, allowing to get some cheap bluffs. You know, but this now is beginning to look like it's not a 4. I think a lot of 4s opt to check on this dynamic turn. But Sawat's can't go anywhere, and this river now, a boat, you know.
Unnecessary improvement to a full house.
Yeah, I mean, really nice also to outdraw ace, queen, and pocket 4s though, right? So,
true.
So what's with a big, big moment? And, you know, this isn't your ordinary tournament. There's a lot of people you can just fold this hand, right? Oh, he does snap calls, in fact.
Calls all in and is eliminated. Mike Watson cashes out in 6th place. Managed to ladder up a couple of spots, cashing out for $67,000. That is going to take us down to the final 5 players. And all the chips right now are with Iron Best 2. Mattias Irbinger has nearly 15 million chips. We've got Mikici Bodziakowski, Fish 2013 with 5.5 million. Similar size stacks for Smil the Hero and Votenlos, and then the shorty with 2 million is Hello Totti.
Yeah, and not that Sir Watts needs any praise from me, but I think we could say a real great performance from Sir Watts. Cards really went against him, lost that huge all-in, battled back, as you say, made, you know, 2 ladders, made very significant money off the short stack, and then just found himself in a situation where he just couldn't get away from the king. So great play from Sir Watts, as we've come to expect from the legend. And 3 big hands here that Iron Best is opening into. Ace-7 suited, certainly a mandatory V-pip. Could elect to 3-bet here. I mean, all options on the table here. Jam, call, 3-bet. Hello Totti, you know, particularly hard to predict what he'll do. And how will Iron Best proceed? He's going to know that he's opening very wide here as the chip leader. Ace 10, particularly high in his range, given they'll be opening sort of a maximum amount of combos here on the cutoff. And just puts it in. Very, very nice play. A little bit costly for Hello Totty. He's made those outline plays with the 5-6 off, with the 5-3 suited. And once there's any goofing around in your range, Irbinger feels he can just put him to the test with the blocker.
Oh, I tell you what, Sam, it is something to just watch a player literally bulldoze a table and just have complete command, be knocking everyone else out, building a massive chip advantage, and just crush.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's avoided getting limp jammed on here by the pocket fours, so he gets to realize his equity with 2 overs. And Votnolos stabbing in the dark here a little bit. A lot of gut shots going to continue, and one spade hands and such like. Don't really, he's bet this sizing, hoping to just take it down there. This is quite a good card for Votnolos, but once you've beefed up Iron Best range, it's quite hard to navigate these pocket fours. And I think we might see a big sizing here from Iron Best. No, checks back and gets there.
So makes the straight on the river, just a pair of 4s for 7's guy.
Yeah, and obviously not only did 6-7 get there, but 9-7 made a pair, 9-10, Queen 9, all made pairs. And that might help Votnolos in this situation. I think Irbinger going to pick a decent sizing, does so. And yeah, quick fold from Votnolos. And Smil, the hero, with very inviting Queen 9 suited. And yet again, it's going to seem like Irbinger is just picking on these guys, but with a premium and a very nice stack size, effective stack size to jam the ace-king.
So much domination. Oh, Votnolos. WTF. Just misread my hand. Is he referring to the hand he was playing just now against Irbinger? That happened. Was 100% sure. He folded 4s, right? Thought he had 5s. Well, that would have been a full house, right?
I think he means
so thought he flopped a set of 5s.
That would explain the big sizing on the flop, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, as I said, Votnolos plays a lot of tables. It's important to know you're holding. Yeah, that would explain it a little bit.
Look, Sam, when you're firing off multiple bullets in the $5 rebuy, you can't be expected to know what your hold cards are at all times in the 10K high roller.
When you're bashing people up in 33 hypers alongside your 10K FD. I mean, really respect. I mean, I'm a grinder myself, and I got a lot of love for these guys. And Fish could consider leading here. You can't lead all your 8s, but this second pair pairing in general, seen as a really good card for the big blind, who, their equity is built around the cards on the board, with no overpairs, and some draws get check raised. Does feel like this is an 8 that wants to check. And Iron Best unblocking 9-10, Jack 9, 6-5 and clubs, checks back, and it's quads for Fish 2013. And let me tell you, when Fish bets here, Irbinger going to be in a situation where he can consider hero calling.
And we have seen him make plenty of correct hero calls. Oh, check.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fish trying to get it all with the check raise all in, feeling Iron Best always going to bet, going to have some bluffs, and always going to bet all his boats. So I understand why Fish went for it there.
And Irbinger now close to 16 million chips. Has ace-7 under the gun, opens, but we've got ace-king and ace-10 behind. 3-bet from Totti, 3-bet all in, and everyone else folds.
Yeah, and Totti's going to have to be, I don't know, maybe a bit more careful about its timings. It's very, very hard to have the weaker part of your range when you snap jam like that. And Votnalos with the Kevin Collins in the small blinds. And again, Fish 2013 with a holding similar to Smell the Heroes King Queen suited. That's very, very hard to fold. Oh no, I don't know about this. Goes for the jam, hoping to cooler Fish. A little bit surprised to not see a non-all-in 3-bet there from Votnalos with such a strong holding.
Sevens guy now playing 2.8 million. Action has been folded to Irbinger in the small blind. King Queen shoves on Hello Totti, who is the shorty with 1.6 million, although similar to the hero, doesn't have a lot more than that. And this could be a coin flip. Nines versus Ace King. Shove, a fold. Are we going to go off to the races? No, wow. The fold.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I just think that the speed of the jam there, like Hello Totti does a lot of goofing around with small 3-bets. When he's all in, he's got a good hand. Don't get me wrong, I'm very surprised to see the nines fold. I'm amazed that he folded that quickly. But, you know, these guys, actually commentators use it as a get out very often, you know, to say these guys have history against each other. But I'm sure Hello Totti and Votnalos have played, you know, thousands and thousands of hands against each other. And you know, Votnalos just with a sense that Hello Totti had a clear jam and nines doesn't do very well against that. So really interesting fold.
I like John's comment, in inverted commas, ICM considerations. Remember, that's your excuse for everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, don't get me, well, he's folded A7 there. I mean, it's really exciting for me to see how, you know, as we said throughout, you know, I've said countless times on this broadcast how well Rudolph does, like what a heater he's on, live, huge results, online, huge results. And we're seeing these little wrinkles in his games, these things that he does differently to other regulars. And that must be how he's making the money. So, you know, he has his approach and he's sticking to it. So really, really exciting to see a top player approaching things a little bit differently. And again, a little bit of a perplexing fold from Hello Totti. A7 suited there. I mean, really, I'm a little bit surprised, but again, what do I know?
I love it. But the audience has come to the conclusion that Votnalos must be drunk. Now, all I'm going to say is he does have previous, because the reason we call him Sevens guy is he tried to give a very drunken explanation at EPT Barcelona a few years back about where the whole sevens thing came from. And it was such a confusing answer that we literally went back and did a second interview with him to try and get a clearer explanation. And his second answer was just as nonsensical as his first. Something to do with flipping games, and when you're playing them, the 7 is always coming. Anywho, he gave birth to a meme, and for that, we thank you, sir.
Yeah, what a legend. Legendary guy. Huge morale. Occasionally when I was living in Vienna, I would see him over breakfast or ruffling around. I mean, it's hard to see him because he puts in such volume, but yeah, amazing character in the poker community. Advantageous flop for Fish 2013, but for his range and actual hand with the up and down straight draw. I mean, what I would say is if these guys are giving Irbinger a walk with Ace X, if they're folding A7 suited to his buttons opening, I mean, he's got license to go wild with his opens, and you know he's going to really run over these guys. So be interested to see what adjustments he makes to their slightly snugger approach. Hello Totti, not someone that likes to back down in general, will fold the 9-3 suited.
Queen 10 of diamonds. Well, Wojciechowski with 9-7 of spades.
Yeah, and you can see, you know, poker players love to talk about backdoors. You can see how beautifully that 9-7 wraps around the 8. And Fish leading out as the covering stack. This is a little bit of an innovation. I think if we were playing purely for chips, I don't know whether we'd see this. Maybe we would. And what a loss, having none of it. Raising Queen 10 here, no back door.
Thinks he's got pocket queens.
Amazing hand here playing out. Very unconventional from both players. And you notice Wojciechowski will take a turn card. Now, Votnolos is going to win on this card if he bets again. Wow, I mean, Fish, but, I mean, do you have an ace when you raise here? Like, how narrow are you repping? What does Fish have? Is it possible he has an ace deuce or an ace 4? Checks back, and Fish gets there on the river.
Oh, wow. Queen high, no longer the best hand.
Yeah, and I think that Fish, I don't think he'll play this trappy. Votnolos sort of has repped sort of jacks, queens, a hand like that. And for that reason, I think we will see Fish go for value. Goes all in, double pot. Really remarkable hand there. And again, I said that it would be exciting to see Fish 2013 get chips. There we see him taking, you know, an unconventional line and winning a real big pot. Obviously helped, aided by that fortuitous river. And Small the Hero, similar to how we saw Mike Watson shove the offsuit wheel ace. This is quite common. And Iron Best feels a 7 on the cusp, will release the better holding, the stronger holding. Nice play from Smil the Hero to take that spot.
So you talk about Fish 2013, Mikiti Wojciechowski getting chips, Sam. I mean, realistically, he's the only player who can do any significant damage to Mattias Irbinger's stack right now. I mean, 1.5 million each for Smil the Hero and Hello Totti, 2.1 million for Vottenlos, and in 4 minutes, the blinds are going to 5,100.
Yeah, and Smil with the jam, and I'm best folding the pip below. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Fish, so talented. Also playing in a position against Irbinger for much of the orbit. I mean, he's a fearsome player. And I think one of, amongst many strengths that Wojciechowski has, playing fine. I think he plays finals exceptionally well. So, you know, at the moment, the direction we're heading in is these two heads up, but I wouldn't rule out the other three. We see fortunes change, a few coolers going in one player's direction. You know, again, as I say, amongst many qualities these guys have, very determined. Hello Totti, Votnolos, and I'm sure Smil the Hero as well.
Top here for the chip leader.
Yeah, and again, I think we might see a big sizing here. This is a very good board for the small blind, and Ace-10 needs a lot of protection here. So a little bit of a size up with the strong Ace-10 holding.
Ace-7 opens.
Yeah, and Smil the Hero again with a rejam opportunity. We saw him pass the deuces. Seven's that bit stronger and less sort of problematic blocking properties.
Blind v blind, and gets a walk. Not going to play 10-9.
Wow. I'm a little surprised at that. But I think I'm best possibly going to pick shove here with Queen Jack off. That's quite nice thing. But obviously, with the 3 short stacks, we've seen the dynamic of this final table change completely. We're seeing raise, call, raise, 3-bet. Now we're seeing a lot of raise. Irbinger pushing the action with the opens, with the blockers, and then the shorter stacks having to find hands, suited aces, pocket pairs to rejam on their opponents. And we're going to see that dynamic for a little while until these stacks possibly even out. One of the players busts, one of the players double up will be a sort of frequent outcome.
Let's help out Sir Davos. Is there a way to calculate the total chips in play? Yes, there is. So we can see that there were 109 total entries, and the starting stack is 250,000. So 109 multiplied by 250,000. So roughly 25 million chips in play.
James Hartigan, a beautiful mind.
Ed Harris isn't real. I know it's a spoiler, but guess what? I'm doing you a favor. It's a terrible film.
Yeah, so again, this is what I was touching on earlier. Fish 2013, the King 8 suited. Again, something he couldn't do earlier. Flatting in position. You see against a deep stacked opponent, Iron Best, you can't apply pressure in a single raise pot to a stack of 5.4 million. So your covering stack kind of is negated somewhat, and you're forced to play a little bit more honestly. Nice call here from Watnalos with the pocket 4s, but Fish outdrawing him. Obviously, one of the tough things about calling 4s there is, is you allow your opponent to realize equity in position very, very often, 2 overcards. And I wonder if Fish is going to value bet here on the turn and protect his holding. Maybe feeling that Votnalos would consider check raising a queen. Badziakowski, very nice. Senses the 8 is good and doesn't allow Votnalos a free card to outdraw his holding. Really, I mean, these guys are so strong.
And the blinds have gone up, Sam. We are now playing 50,000, 100,000. And look at this card distribution. Queens, ace queen, ace 10, ace jack.
Yeah, and I mean, depending what Smile the Hero does here, Hello Totty might get saved, because if Smill jams here, then Hello Totty can get away from ace queen. If he calls, right, so an all-in, and Votnalos gonna tank, and I think Hello Totty, will fold.
So actually, Votnalos is the all-in player here. Smill has him covered. And Queen's hold, and that is going to leave Smil the Hero with next to nothing, forced all in on the next hand. Yeah, and it's a little bit of a problem for Hello Totty, right? Hello Totty, it's really tough being all in. Well, this makes things easier. This makes things easier. Oh, man. This is Domination Nation.
Will Fish spike call? No, he won't.
Forced all in from the ante. And drawing dead on the turn, Smil the Hero gone in 5th place. Having won the 2K PKO last night, Daniel Smilkovic finishes 5th in the 10K High Roller, cashing out for $87,000. Strong work, sir.
Yeah, absolutely great stuff. Couple of 100,000 over 2 days. And that won't be the last we'll see of Smil the Hero. As I said, someone that's really coming up through the ranks and, mixing it with the world's best. And Irbinger makes the call.
And that is the end.
Ding, ding.
I've had indeed, it is always coming 7. And
I am
Totty
best.
Bust in 4th place.
Yeah, Iron Best taking a stand, realizing that the shackles are off somewhat ICM-wise, with Hello Totty being the shortest stack, and making a very, very, I guess, a kind of loose call with the A7, correctly surmising there are enough hands he's ahead of, and winning the flip. And we're 3-handed all of a sudden.
Amazing. Down to the final 3 players, and we can see it is Mattias Irbinger, Iron Best 2, with the phenomenal chip advantage here. Votnalos making a surge right now, though.
Wow, yeah. So, I mean, this is pretty amazing stuff that we've got here. We have got 3 of the strongest players in the world playing pretty deep stacked, right? You know, obviously Iron Bass, huge chip lead, but there's not going to be that much jamming, and it's a very exciting 3-handed match we have coming back after the break.
Absolutely, 2 eliminations there as that session came towards a close. And let's talk about the players who we have left in this 10K high roller. The chip leader is I Am Best 2, Mattias Irbinger. Mattias is a player who's had results on the EPT before. In fact, in 2019 in Monte Carlo, he won the single day super high roller for 942K. Nearly $4 million in total earnings on the EPT, 19 total cashes. And the player who's currently 3rd in chips, who had a very up and down session, including a misread, which he confessed to, is Votenlos, aka Christian Rudolph. We saw Christian finish 6th in the PCA main event in 2018, has 2 scoop titles, a WCOOP title, but for us, he will always be 7's guy because he was on the rail. He was the explainer when that meme was born. EPT Barcelona 2014, the final table of the main event, Andre Latau, here's the moment when that was born.
Blind's now 600,000, 1.2 million. We've never played this blind level before.
I'm scared.
Come on. Phillips forced to make a move.
How much you have?
With blinds this high, no shib. It's all going in here.
I call.
Latau calls. And this could be it.
Sam's drawing quite live.
7! He does realize his opponent has a 7, right?
7, 8, a diamond.
I like our odds here.
I like Abraham Stinkin's optimism.
Latau with 59% equity on the verge of victory.
Come on, King!
Sam Phillips looking for help. But it's a king high flop. Phillips could be drawing dead on the turn.
6 of diamonds, yeah.
It's a 9. Sam picks up a gut shot.
He's sweet.
Unless there's a 6 on the river, we have a winner. It's a king. Latau takes it down. Sam Phillips walks away with the most money, but Andre Latau is the EPT 100 champion.
And what I love about that, Sam, is how committed the Germans were to the whole 7 thing, that even when Latau gets it in against a player who has a 7 of the live card, he's still calling for the 7.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously each little group of poker players has their own sort of superstitions and stories, and I guess that's a big one for the Germans.
We're going to have many flashback moments over the course of our 6 days of streaming from EPT Online as we remember some of the highlights from the EPT over the last 16 years of action that we've had on the live circuit. And that was the 100th EPT main event. It went into the early hours of the morning. That was a long final table. How long is it going to take for us to get a winner in this 10K high roller? We are down to the final 3 players, and Mattias Irbinger has such a big chip lead, a 176 big blind stack, but his 2 opponents are not short here. Nikita Podziakowski playing 55 big blinds, Christian Rudolph, Votenlos with 40 big blinds, 90 big blind average. Still a lot of play in this, and of course 1 double up through Irbinger, and that absolutely changes the dynamic. We have lost some familiar faces or familiar names over the course of the first 2 hours of this final table. Connor Beresford, Tim Adams, Bert Stevens, Mike Watson, all gone. In the last few minutes, we lost Daniel Smilkovic and Hello Totti. Let's remind ourselves what's still up for grabs. Let's remind ourselves of what they are playing for at this final table. Everyone now guaranteed a 6-figure score. 148,000 for the next player out. 192K for the runner-up. More than $250,000 for the winner. And we're about to rejoin the action. Back to Sam Grafton, and I'm going to hand over the baton to Mr. Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies. Time for three-handed action. Joe Stapleton, Sam Grafton. Three-handed, or as I like to call it, Sam, threads up.
That's nice, nice. Maybe that'll be maybe 10 years from now, that'll be just like Chip in the Chair. We were there the day it was coined.
And then I'll get accused of not having invented it because it's been around so long, the same way I do with Chip in a Chair. Now, look, Sam, we've seen this time and again. This is a tale as old as time here in the online poker streets, as they call it. Three-handed happens in 2 hours. This could easily go 3 or 4 hours of just three-handed play before we even get to heads up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, certainly stacks can go in at 40 and 50 big blinds. If Irbinger loses a few chips and these stacks are around more 60 and such like, you know, you're going to see 3-bet, call, bet, fold, and such like. Obviously, nothing's for certain in poker. We can get big hand-over-hand situations. But as we saw with Sir Watts, as we've seen with other players, you know, Fish, Votnalos, and even if for some reason Irbinger gets shorts, these guys will play all their stack sizes very, very strongly. And you know, will be battling hard with, you know, 10 big blinds, 15 big blinds, 20 big blinds. No one's going to give anything up or give anything away.
Hell to the yeah. Second pair here for Christian Rudolph.
Yeah,
it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's kind of unfortunate that, you know, he became known as sevens guy first, because if he had put up these sorts of numbers that he's doing in the last 18 months or so, back then we'd have been like, oh, no, this is online crusher guy instead of sevens guy. 2 pair for both players on the end. Dangerous spot now for Christian.
Yeah, I mean, Fish can't go too big with his value bet because obviously there are plenty of Jack X in Votnalos's range. Could easily have Queen Jack just as much as Queen 10. I think we will see Fish go for some value here. Yeah, I mean, he would just be known as like super rich guy if you'd kept actually big and confident sizing from Fish there with the ace 10 and get snapped off by the inferior holding. Nice play from Fish there. You see also why he flats the ace 10, keeping in dominated holding like Queen 10. Although you allow them to release some equity in position with the Queen 10, it's nice to keep in hands like that. And,
top pair,
you know,
for Christian.
Yeah, a bit of separation now between Fish and Votnalos also. Jack kicker probably going to be strong enough to check raise, yeah. You know, this is a sort of combo you can stack off with versus button open.
Will DeJoe on Twitch says, my money is on the Fish. That's rude. These are very accomplished players. And even if there were a fish on the table, we shouldn't call it out.
Yes,
Mattias
exactly. Yeah. We call it fun player, right? Is the correct
fun
euphemism.
A wild card, an unknown quantity. We don't say fish.
A few of those you did coin, I'm sure.
Superstar.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, 60 big blinds, lot of flexibility. So again, of course, there is ICM pressure. That pressure is really on the end of your stack. It's the last 10 big blinds that you have to be most careful with. Here we go. Fish 2013 ignition.
Time to take off.
Wow, old school. And of course, you know, you have to defend holdings like Queen 8 off. You know, so much money out there. And this is the nightmare scenario when you do defend this hand.
This is also the nightmare scenario for this match ending anytime soon.
Well, an eight would be interesting. So Fish you're going to bet your entire range probably on Queen 7 Deuce, no 7 Deuce off, and such like in Iron Best range. So you just bet range here. And the question is, does Irbinger feel the 8 kicker good enough to check raise? Doesn't. Unlike the Queen Jack and a deeper stack depth, just calls. And now on this turn, you might see Irbinger begin to go big. Flush draw going to help Iron Best a little bit. Going to have 7x of diamonds, Queen X of diamonds. We do see a size up.
Just slightly over half, a little bit more than half pot here.
Yeah, and you're just stuck with top pair. You cannot, there's so many bluffs, 5-6, 5-3, 3-6, flush draws, you know, and that is a relative,
River is a 6.
well, it's pretty much a brick, right? A pretty clean run out for aces. What size will fish go?
I'm going to say exactly pot.
Yeah, I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be big. Lower cards, obviously a little bit better for Iron Best than for Fish. Two. Wow, Joe
Stapes one time.
Joe Stapleton, he's been in the lab and he's been grinding Pio all these months.
I have been in the lab, except it's more like the Breaking Bad type of lab than the one you're talking about. Fish 2013 with a near double up, now up to 9 million.
Yeah, that's real. It's really big in this on this final table. You know, Fish, we see blind on blind in position. Good fold with the king 3 there. Not getting stubborn.
How do they know? How do they know? Cosmo Kramer on Twitch says it's Nikita's game to lose. Not so sure about that at this point. Still almost a 2-1 lead for Mattias. There's the all-in and a fold of the dominated hand from Mattias. Question from YouTube. Harry Lancaster wants to know if Sam still enjoys poker as much nowadays as 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I do. I think you can tell from how much I'm enjoying this final table. You know, of course, it's a tough old game, but I think it's so fun. Like particularly when events like the EPT come around. You know, I really enjoyed firing up this tournament yesterday and battling against these kind of level of opponents. And yeah, I still love poker. I mean, I don't think you can make it in poker if you don't love the game. Like, I don't think there's many people out there hating regging tournaments who are playing well. You need that enthusiasm in order to study, in order to compete, in order to put up with the downswings and the bad beats and such like. You need that love of the game. I think that's very, very... If you, for some reason, thought, I'm just doing it for money or such like, I think your game would drop off pretty quickly, to be honest. I mean, it's definitely worse.
Have you been watching the Miss Teen Arizona pageant clips? Remember that? When she was like the Iraq and such as? That's what I think every time you say such like.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that. Why?
Just Google the clip. It's from like a decade ago, but someone asked her like why Americans educations, and she goes, many Americans do not have access to a map, so they may not know Iraq such as. It's well worth the watch.
Right, I think I have seen it actually, but I will look it up again. Yeah, that makes sense. So you're saying I came across like I'm incredibly beautiful, but I'm like a bimbo is what you're saying. I'm very inarticulate. I have amazing looks. Yeah. That's why, that's why they have me on here. You know, they need to brighten up the screens. Normally they've only got Maria Ho to look at, and now what are they going to do? They need me here with these.
Will you be moonlighting as a department store Santa Claus this year? Yes or no?
Mate, if times get tough, if this downswing continues, you might see me. I'm praying for the, hopefully we'll go on an upswing. So I am best with a little almost like value protection with the king high. You see Fish playing tough blind on blind, right? The 5, the straightening properties, takes one off and makes second pair. And that's, we saw some earlier people folding in that situation, sort of blind on blind. With these deep stacks and the positional advantage, Fish 2013 ready to play, you know, very tough in position against Iron Best 2.
Both players missed this flop.
Yeah, Fontelos having Irbinger pipped for kicker. And
just pipped for position and aggression.
Yeah, I mean,
Fish 2013 folds the button.
Yeah, yeah. And again, just for newer players, just, you know, to remind people of a little bit of a hand over hand situation here. Think anything crazy will happen, but I Am Best, elects to limp, and Fish definitely going to have to raise nines.
Is this a limp re-raise situation or just total deception all the way through the streets?
I think he's going to just call. They should be up against a very polarized range of like very dusty hands and then aces that pip ace-10. And for that reason, he's just going to keep things tranquilo and just call. But he will be playing stubborn, somewhat stubborn. Obviously, this isn't a great flop for the actual ace-10 combo. Will play a little bit tough down the streets. Getting a very good price and can still have the best hands. If you imagine some of the bluffs Fish might have.
Just that king high board to contend with.
Yeah.
Must be kind of suspicious, the limp call, yeah, for Fish?
Well, there's going to be a lot of Broadway, right? Queen 10, Queen Jacks, overcards and such like. Certainly some kings, King Jacks and King 10s. I'd be really impressed if Fish goes for another protection bet. Does indeed. Look at this sizing. Very, very confident that he beats enough of Irbinger's range. And, you know, protection, a real big thing in poker. Very underrated factor in hands. And, you know, we just see, I mean, it's no surprise to anyone that's been following high-stakes poker over the last 3 or 4 years to see Badiakowski matching, really, Irbinger. Slowing down this, you know, I don't know what the metaphor is, bulldozer. And Fontelos 3-betting the ace-king.
Playing this very fast pre-flop. I always know where my gut and my heart tell me to go here. Okay, it does scream fold there. Good.
Yeah, a really nice fold from Irbinger. You can feel like, oh, I'm the chip leader. What can he have? I've got an ace. I think it's, I mean, by the way, I've done it many times in my career. Just whipped it in there with the ace-7. No, I'm having none of this, mate. You know, after a long session, 2 days of tough play, you can have that kind of impatience, really, right?
Sure.
Just lost a couple of hands.
We're three-handed. I have an ace. There's no way. I got a blocker.
Blocker.
No way.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Couple of small pots for Rudolph and another monster hand, three-handed ace-10 suited. Time the min raise.
Fish very deliberate. Does fold the 5-8 off. Recognizing what Fontelos been playing reasonably in line from the button.
Question from Cosmo Kramer says, Stapes, is there ever talks of chops in online tourneys? Yes, thank you for your question.
And Fontelos will ISO here with this high card, low card combo. Just trying to get it done, really. Leverage the queen.
Why is that called an ISO? You're not really isolating. Is it just that's what they're all called now?
Yeah, I guess that's the sort of shorthand for it. I know what you're saying. You're not trying to, you know.
It used to mean you were isolating the pot from, you know, other players entering.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, is there another word for it? I don't know. Maybe Joe Stapleton, get a napkin out, invent something, bro. I'll start saying it. You'll say it. We'll put a memo out.
Run this one through the sausage factory, see what comes out the other side, you know?
Yeah. By the way, we've got Griffin. He's basically a minion. We can make him say it on air. You say, I say it. We just repeat it endlessly.
That's on from there.
People love it.
That's half the poker commentators in the world.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Rudolph turns it straight here.
And we've seen this a few times from Votnelos, slow playing, and he does get Iron Best to bite.
Yeah. With a hand that could be the best hand. Nice redraw.
Yeah. And he goes for the check raise.
Oh, the straight on board would be so dirty here.
A little bit weird having the 3, because now you do beat the 8-9s or 9-10 of hearts or something like that, and you have the backup of being able to make the nuts. And for that reason, Irbinger playing tough against Votnelos does call hearts brick. Yeah, doesn't even think about it.
Rudolph. Yeah, climbing, gaining. Coming on strong the last few hands. Picking up almost 2 million.
And this is what I talked about. I mean, Fish almost with the double up, Votnelos padding their stack. And now, you know, Irbinger's had things go all his own way thus far on the final. And now he's in for a battle, right? Now we're three-handed. And, you know, if he wants to take this title down, he's going to have to fight three-handed with 2 top-class opponents in order to you know, be the EPT High Roller champion.
Question from Kirill on YouTube who says, how do you think coronavirus affects the online sports involvement? Greatly. Thank you for your question. Action folds around to Christian Rudolph.
Yeah, I think this part of poker is really demanding psychologically. It's very attritional. It's like limp, check, heart, quarter pot, call, half pot, fold. A lot of small, you know, these, you know, we all remember the big pots we've played. We all enjoy seeing the big pots, the big callers go down on finals. But where a lot of where final tables are won and lost is having the correct frequencies here in these blind battles, making sure that you're getting your share of the blinds and antes and not getting run down and reliant on a flipping situation. Because, you know, if Votnelos wins every hand blind on blind, you know, he's got a sort of extra life when it comes to the flip. Or if Iron Best wins every hand against Fish, he's, you know, when it eventually does come down to a flip or an all-in flush draw versus top pair, you being the bigger stack, you know, gives you a second opportunity. Look at
this. Christian Rudolph continues.
Wow. Was that a check raise? Was that second pair check raised?
I believe it were.
Wow. Very, very nice from Votnelos.
And we do have a bit of a cooler shaping up here as well. Ace-8 for Mattias. Bakita. Yeah, I just called him Bakita. That's great. Queen-Jack suited.
Fakita, I think we'll elect a 3-bet here. Can go either way, but I think at this stack depth, most of your continuing range, you want to be 3-betting. Queen-Jack, almost really for value here in this situation. And Ace-8 going to be right on the cusp. Ace-8 suited for sure. Irbinger would continue. Ace-10 off, certainly he would continue. Ace-8 off. I think this is a genuine tank and does call.
Ace-8, got to be feeling fairly confident here with Ace-High.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is like there's no flop, right? Like no one improved really. And maybe Fish has two combos of Ace-3 suited. Effectively, it's as you were. And so Fish has the stronger range here, has more of the aces, kings. Also has those ace-king offs, though, and ace-queens offs. It's going to make up a lot of his range. But unfortunately for Irbinger, he's behind or even those.
Not to mention the 6s, 7s, 8s. And another blank here.
Yeah. So does Fish start to go for the bluff here, right? You're going to have the 2 overs. Obviously, 7s isn't going to fold. 4s isn't going to fold this turn. You're really targeting all the ace highs Iron Best has, but there are a lot of them, right? There's ace queen off, ace jack suited, ace 10, even ace 8 off. You're going to get some of them to fold here on the turn.
Yeah, this is tough, huh? With ace 8, wow.
I mean, I'm like, look at this. Irbinger doesn't give it up straight away. He does fold. I mean, he's tough. Look at that. Grr. He's not tough man to get through. Let this be a lesson, guys. If you come across Iron Best 2 in a tournament, don't you are a fish.
You're a fish. He's referring to a screen name, I assume.
I wonder how much these guys play. You know, obviously for some of these high rollers, they even swap in tournaments and you know, have very, very close relationships. Maybe even study together, these guys, for all I know. Like, nice to see a little bit of banter. A little bit of a tweener hand, Queen Jack. A little bit weak to bet for value and protection. See, kind of nice if you keep in Queen 9. Wow, I say that. There you go. Should have bet, shouldn't you, Votnalos? Same. What's he saying, Votnalos? Same solves?
I didn't catch that one. Up and down now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you fold out some king high. You clear up equity, but it's quite a chunky sizing and doesn't follow through. I think queen kicker, very easy value bet, can sometimes be against the 4. Obviously, a whole host of 8-7s, jack 8s, hearts missed. And look at the confidence of this sizing with the overbet.
Overbets. Really wants to call from the 4, from the ace high.
I mean, look at this. Votnalos doesn't give it up. I think Jack of Hearts might be irrelevant because Iron Best might never bluff with the Jack of Hearts in his hand. He is considering this. He beats the 8-7. I mean, it's kind of problematic to have a Jack.
Yeah.
But Iron Best never bluffs king high here, right? So this hand does beat the bluffs.
Wait, so that 7-8 bluffs this, but King Jack doesn't?
Yeah, King Jack doesn't need to bluff, just can show down against exactly this kind of hand. Wow, and Votnalos with the Queen High hero call. And
a potential cooler on the very next hand. There's the 3-bet from Mattias, who has just sent Christian Rudolph back down into the 3-handed danger zone. All in, Domination Nation, 3 spades on the flop as well. And it's a spade flush for Mattias Irbinger. Christian Rudolph out in 3rd for just shy of $150,000. Sorry, thrown off check down.
So I think they're going to do a deal, and they don't want the stack sizes to change. It's like
they're going to check this hand down. Okay.
They're going to, yeah. I think, you know, you don't want some, like, obviously each pot is worth quite a lot of money. You don't want some weird dynamic where you're all in that final hand before you. Here we're having a battle. Did you bluff?
We haven't been to the river, I think. Did you bluff me? The 5-3-3-6 is streamed anyway.
Wow. Look at the determination, like the will to win of Iron Best.
I value bet. Queen High.
Yeah, even playing on his mind a little bit.
Now.
Just that small pot. There we go.
All right, pause for a deal. Let's see if they talk about it in the chat box. We'll be able to follow some of it.
So Joe, there's money set aside. I just want to clarify.
Generally, yeah, they make them play for, I think, 10% of the remaining prize pool, I think. So I don't think they'll be able to straight up go all in. I mean, unless, yeah, as far as official deals are concerned.
10% of the difference? 10K.
10K.
Okay.
Is what it's going to end up being.
Yeah, and I mean, oh, wow. A deal agreed. There we go.
So quick. There is no money to be played for, right? That is incorrect. So we go all in. Is there something on top to play for? Do we?
I mean, that's kind of bad. These guys should... Maybe someone wants to... I guess having a look. I presume that there is, just because that's been the case with the
10K.
others.
The software makes it so that there's still 10K left to be played for. So it looks like we have taken a flop.
It would be great if we could find some way to force these geniuses to play each other heads up, I think.
Do we know if there is money to play for? Yes, I know this happened 30 minutes ago, but yes, it's a scant $10,000. I think we took 217 versus 212 or something like this. This is interesting. I've never seen this happen before. I love it.
Where's Toby Stone?
I'm a poker socialist. I just like people being like, you know what? We both played a good game. You get some money. I get some money. Who needs to flip coins for $100,000?
Yeah.
Admin is around. This is so strange.
Two of the best poker players in the world completely befuddled by the payout structure.
If they looked in the lobby, it would show it. But maybe they have so many tables up. Let's see. Let's play check down for some time, I think he said, till we figure it out. Good. I'm checking the lobby. There we go. Someone's checking the lobby.
Yeah.
Two of the smartest people in the world unable to look in the lobby. Will they figure it out soon?
I mean, to recap, great game as always by Votnolos. Made an amazingly ambitious hero call with Queen Jack. I am best going for that big sizing that kind of looked like maybe it was just a 10 or nothing. And then a bit of a cooler. And so these guys chopping up a huge amount of money between the two of them. In a way, it did
Where's
feel...
Lee Jones to call these guys when you need them?
Please don't.
Are they aware the winner also gets a trophy? That cannot be chopped.
Yeah, guys, trophies. I mean, Fish is he probably hasn't got room for them on his shelf.
That's probably true.
Yeah, and a great performance from both of these guys, I think, across the final table. You know, Irbinger from the outset setting the tone with that amazing ace-jack bluff against Sir Watts is dominating, holding, and from there...
they did it.
What does
They found it. 10K first place, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how these guys rate 10K.
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry,
flip
Joe.
starting next hand anyway.
I mean, it does, you know, I guess, obviously these guys have a lot of respect for 10K, but it is, in this context, one buy-in. Okay, did I ever
win a flip against you?
I want to see this flip. I want to see who the EPT champion is.
Now is the time.
In true socialist fashion, these guys will flip a coin for $10,000.
Just flip, book, and then I keep going till I bust you.
Just as Mark's dreamed of. Just as Kropotkin.
Booked and booked. All right, guys, this should be fun.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Premium.
What a nice hand. Nice. I don't think I have to read that one. You guys can see nice.
Monster.
Fish thinks he has a monster.
There we go. Holding. And Fish takes a commanding 4-1 lead in this flip and is ahead with 7 high.
Fish was right. That has got to make good. I've got the perfect hand to finish now. That's true. This would be awesome. Winning. Oh, it's a pair of threes for Mattias. So double up for Mattias.
Wow.
Couldn't close it out. It just shows you how much the EPT trophy means to these guys.
Comeback is on. 9 high, pipping 7 high.
Top range. Even you don't believe it. And it's
we have a champion.
Pair of fours for the win, and we have got a champion. Congratulations, Mattias Irbinger. That's who won it, right?
Yes.
After a very close deal at the end, two of the best of the world decide, let's not waste the brain power. Let's just cash in and cash out. Mattias Irbinger finishing in second place for $221,000. And Mattias Irbinger, the technical winner here, taking home or staying home with $222,000 for himself, as well as an official side event win on the European Poker Tour.
And obviously that was something a little bit different. And obviously it was a bit fun, but at the same time, I kind of have very mixed feelings about it, and I can't help but feel that we kind of been denied a little bit there. I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, do I really want to sit here for 6 hours and watch these guys grind it out, with massive stacks? On the other hand, do I want to see two of the best in the game play a heads-up battle for an EPT trophy? And I think I'm kind of swinging towards the latter. I mean, Sam, no one will defend deal-making more than me, and I completely understand it's their money, it's their game, they can do what they want. But do you understand where I'm coming from, where it kind of, the game deserved more than that?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, I would have loved to have seen those two battle. The strategies they would have, the determination they both have as competitors. On the other hand, I think it's in this context, it's a field of 109. Although the prize feels really, really big, it's 22 buy-ins. It's only one buy-in to play heads up for. And for that reason, these guys obviously have their focus elsewhere, probably want some rest and recreation, for the online grind that's, these guys are battling every day and they're battling all weekend. So probably want to get to bed and just chop up the money.
I have to say, Joe, I didn't think that today's stream would be almost as short as yesterday's.
No chance, especially yesterday was a TV highlight show, 2 of them. This one was only slightly longer than that. I was expecting it to be very long and drawn out, especially with how fast we got the threads up. I will admit that if this was the kind of finish we had all of the time, I might think it's a little anticlimactic too. But to see it one time, to see that sort of deal go on, not only just the one in the software, but say hey, let's just flip for 10K this one time, I will allow it.
Yeah, okay, and also we should say we were treated. Irbinger and Makita played unbelievably well across this final table.
True.
We weren't left shortchanged by this final table. It was one of the strongest, most remarkable final tables we've seen since broadcasting began.
And that's a good note to end on. Thank you very much, Sam. I don't think we're going to see a similar ending tomorrow. We've got the final table of the 1K Arena Championship, which actually played down to the final 9 last night. They will come back tomorrow to play down to a winner. So these are the 9 players we will be watching tomorrow. A lot of chips in play in this event because it was such a huge field, nearly 2,500 runners. That means a prize pool of nearly $2.5 million. Kielstrom is going to come in as the chip leader with 170 bigs. And take a look at what they are playing for tomorrow. A reminder, it's a 1K buy-in. And with 9 players remaining, they've all locked up at least 23,700. There is more than $250,000 to the runner-up tomorrow. There is nearly 360 grand to the winner. It's going to be a fun event, the 1K Arena Championship, and we will be on air tomorrow at the usual time. So please join us on Thursday, November 12th at 1:30 Eastern, 6:30 UK time, 7:30 Central European time. We'll see you tomorrow, but for now, from Sam Grafton, Joe Stapleton, and me, James Hartigan, it is good night from the PokerStars Arena.